I have a quick internet update for you, like a little The Internet Trouble series continues. It is so cold here right now. As we had yesterday, we had about a 30-degree drop in temperature, literally overnight. It's kind of crazy. Yesterday I was still out in shorts and t-shirt, and today I have to wear 3 layers of clothing, including 2 really thick, like, you know, thick fleece jacket underneath which is a thick fleece jumper. Kind of crazy. This is what Florida does to you. You gotta be prepared, man. You gotta be prepared. So my internet, it's still wonky, and sadly technician number 2 who was there was a bit of a washout, maybe, shall I say. Tim was his name, from Atlantic Broadband. And so he came and he found, and this is kind of nice that we dug into that, he found something in my wall that's not really necessary to be in there. It's a splitter that splits the coax cable for the internet connection into 2. And I guess my previous tenants or the previous owners or whatever, they had one connection for the living room and one for the bedroom, and we didn't need that, so he removed that, which did indeed improve, as it does, the level on the line inside my apartment. However, it did not eliminate what he calls, and finally agreed to after 2 hours of picking and prodding, and then his meter wasn't working correctly, so he couldn't actually do a ping test from my apartment, which is a bit of a shame, but it's just how it goes, isn't it? So in the end, he has agreed that there was indeed some kind of noise on my line, and while he still thinks it's coming from inside the building, he did let slip that his next appointment on that day was literally 2 blocks to the north of me, so also in my neighborhood, south of 5th here, in Miami Beach. It's a business, and they seem to have the same problem. So it looks like it's not really my apartment, which is, we knew that already, but indeed it is something going into this area. So there's something that, you know, there's a larger problem somewhere on the line. Now, they haven't fixed it yet. It was supposed to happen within a couple of days. I could check in with them and see what the status is of that, but if it is something major, then it looks like that's not easily fixable. Also, it's not something that a technician can fix. It'll just, I mean, not in my apartment. It'll just magically come good if they'll get to fix it. Now, how long that takes, nobody knows. If it is actually fixable and if they're going to fix it, nobody knows. So I don't really want to live like that I mean the least that they can probably do or work out somehow with me is something like a refund for this month, because I'm clearly not getting what I'm paying for. So, you know, that's kind of a cosmetic issue, but the underlying thing is, how long does it take to fix it, and are they in a situation in which they can fix it? Because if that's not the case, then I may have to look into a different provider. And here's where it gets slightly complicated. So I spoke to, there's 2 other providers I can choose here if we don't want to go wireless. That's a third option, but the 2 providers that I have here are either AT&T or Xfinity, which is part of Comcast, and currently I'm using Atlantic Broadband. So Xfinity is something that works here, but I don't know if they can install it in my apartment, because it's a shared building. It's not a single house in which you could just do whatever to the line that's coming in. It's literally a line that's coming in and that's distributed inside the house. So I don't really know the ins and outs. I have a feeling it's one provider provides the building with internet, and then that provider needs to be taken inside the building, or you find a different solution altogether, like, you know, satellite internet or whatever. So I don't know if they can do it. Sadly, my address wasn't on their database, so I've called them and said, hey, can you provide service? They go, your address doesn't seem to be coming up here on our system. Are you sure it's a valid address? Yes, I'm living here. I'm getting mail here, man. Oh, okay, well, looks like, tell you what, we need to fix that in our database first. Take 2 days. And at that point, once our system knows your address, we can see if we can supply service there. So we need to send a man out and have a physical look if it's possible, and that's currently in the works. So if that works, then I might be going with Xfinity. So, you know, that's kind of something that's bubbling in the background. But of course, what I'm worried about is that internet service providers, they don't control the infrastructure. They control part of it, and they control part of your access to it. It's a bit like electricity providers. I remember when that was privatized in the UK, I found it electricity and gas companies, I found it very interesting that I could switch gas providers, yet the physical gas access or the physical electricity cable going into my apartment doesn't actually change, which tells me, well, they don't own that. Someone owns that, and they just lease it, and they make some kind of package deal, whatever, how it works. But if I go with someone else, I'm not physically getting a new cable into my apartment. My bills will come from somewhere else, but at the end of the day, if there is, I guess my point is that if there is an issue in this area, it doesn't really matter which provider supplies me with the internet or sends me the bill. At the end of the day, if there's something physically broken with the fact whatever's coming in or going out of Miami Beach, then it doesn't matter who I'm with. I may end up with the same problem with a different provider. So those are my thoughts. I just wanted to let you know, quick update from the very cold neighborhood here. Yes, so yes, that's the other thing. So that's how we're going to continue in the meantime. That's the other big question. I've done a lot of testing on my line in regards to how can I give us all the best streaming experience for the 3D Shenanigans streams and for whatever it is that we want to do. And it looks like Restream really isn't happy with a low bandwidth signal from me. That's not really working. There's a link to an article I've written on my website, on the WP Guru. You can check that out for literally more in-depth info on the test that I've conducted and on the outcome of that. But essentially I have to ditch Restream for now. I don't think it's a Restream problem, it's just the way that Restream handles whatever wonky signal comes out of my apartment. Similarly, Mixer, if I stream to Mixer directly, it does work, so that's cool, but less so than via Restream. Every once in a while, every few seconds, the picture either freezes or the bottom two-thirds of the whole picture is a mush for about a second. And either it takes a couple of seconds for the signal to become fluid again, or we need to switch off low latency, but then we can stay on Mixer. That's another option. The third option is to go with a completely different service, namely Twitch. I can stream to Twitch without problem. That would, that's also possible. We've never really tried Twitch together, but maybe we should. I mean, Twitch looks absolutely ghastly, simply terrible, but it does work, and it works reliably well. So I wonder, maybe we should try that. So the third option that I considered in the test was in fact YouTube. Why not just stream directly to YouTube? I wouldn't have to re-upload something. It would just be on YouTube, and yeah, the lag is pretty bad, the chat lag, but it's, if it works, maybe that's an option. It doesn't work. That's kind of the shocker of the test. That's like the oh my god, that's like literally the what's it called, the punchline of the whole test is I can no longer stream to YouTube. That's mega crazy. That manifests in the fact that when I try that, OBS can't send anything to the YouTube servers. So I get an instant encoder overload, and that usually happens when the packets can't leave my premises fast enough. So that's usually what triggers an encoder overload. And to YouTube, it's just nothing ever arrives at YouTube. It's very, very bizarre. So I mean, that goes to show something is not right with the infrastructure. I don't really know how YouTube's system works. You only get one URL and a stream key to which you stream, whereas with the other services like Mixer and Twitch and Restream, you get a choice of servers, and usually there's an auto detect going on that pings what is the server physically closest to you, and then that'll be taken, or you can pick a server that you like. So like sometimes with Restream, the Miami server here, which is the one that's closest, that it's super wonky, and if I pick something like Dallas or Washington or New York, then the signal is much smoother. Don't ask me why. I have no idea really about any of these things, just observations. Why anything it is the way it is, I have no idea. But yes, so YouTube streaming is out. Possibilities is continue with Mixer the way it is. No adverts. We know what it's like. We don't have to sign up with anything else. at the expense of sometimes the signal isn't fluent and I'm gonna have to make a local recording and then upload that to YouTube later. Or option number 2, we can try Twitch, and that makes it easy for me to send the signal over to YouTube. So they have an export option that exports from their servers to YouTube servers the video that I've made, and then, you know, it's live there. So that'll be convenient, but you know, it's a new platform. We can use our Amazon credentials to go in there. I don't really know. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to do going forward. I'm happy to try something else for 2020, and I'll keep you posted on the rest of the internet shenanigans and if and how and when that ever gets, you know, fixed, solved, issue, situation, thing. That's exciting. So a man from in our back alley, a man from AT&T is playing with the cables. So it could well be that that is related to the issue I was reporting. Who knows? It's just very exciting. So I remember I saw this guy earlier when I left for work, and now it's, you know, 5 hours later, the guy's still there. Ooh. This is interesting, isn't it?